man Joe. We're doing deck profile here. What is your name and what did you do?
My name is Justin Stinson. I just went X2, got top 43 out 400 this past Indiana Regional this past Saturday.
Okay. All right, and what did we play?
I was playing Purely.
Alrighty then. Let's have any shout outs?
Yes. Shout out to Alyssa, my girl. Shout out to my boys, Joseph, Dakota. Massive shout out to my family, my mother, my grandma for their support and love. Shout out to my team, Connor behind the camera. Shout out to Shane. Check out House of Cards, TCG on YouTube. That's our team. Shout out to Elijah, Jake, and Tyler Young for just the support that they gave me this weekend.
Alrighty, man. Let's get into it.
So, starting the profile, you play 3 Purely. This is standard. It's not the best one, but the deck is as good as this card hits. Now, when it misses, I mean, it hurts, but I mean, you can still play, but it's not the best one. But when this card hits, the deck is just that much better.
Sure.
Per Lily, 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best one. Players are starting to realize how to play against the deck a little bit better. Either they imperm on this, or they will allow us to go through, and then typically they'll ash the My Friend, but this is the best one.
All right.
So 3 and 3, that's standard. 3 My Friend, you have to. It's like a multi-roll. This card just says that if you remove any of my XYZ Pureleys, that you get punished. But yeah, that's standard. 3/3. Some people play this at 2. In testing, one of the challenges is that if you went sleepy, especially something in Pure Lily, Pure Lily effect, search for My Friend. And if you already had sleepy in hand, you really, and if you have a Nerf Quick spell, you really want to search this, the guaranteed the 4 draw that combo line, the standardized inboard. Some people played at 2, but I think you have to play at 3, especially with Rescue Ace and Cash. They really play into this, and it just gives you a huge advantage. But I think you have to play it at 3.
And that's fair. All right.
We go 3 here, 3 here. This might be the best one, but you need this one now to get into Baby Noir, and then. So this is all standard 3/3/3 delicious. This card is essential for the OTK lines with Happy. We'll get there later on. This is good protection on your opponent's turn, or if they try to respond, pop one of your cards like your Street or My Friend, that can come in clutch. But as far as all of this is standard. Nothing really much to say. So, I wouldn't say this is necessarily standard, but in testing, one of the guys on my team, Shane, I talked to Clifton Lana a little bit about this as well. I wasn't sure. And the card right here I was debating on this because prior to the event, I was most likely going to go with this, but even if your plays went through, if you were going first, if a lot of your opponents would respond with a Book of Moon to your trap, and essentially you just lost. If it wasn't for the cross out, I was going to play this, but I think you have to play one of them. Ultimately, after talking to Connor, it just made more sense to go with cross out, just for the fact that it covers more, like D barrier. Essentially, you can, because this can't stop Eclipse. Now, there is some application where this card's better, where this can sit in your hand while you have Zeus, and maybe your opponent has 1 or 2 cards on the field, or in their hand. But I think this was the right decision. This saved me a lot. And essentially, this means I don't lose to bad players, because sometimes the player across you could be not really in a position where they should win, but because they D-barrier, it just means you didn't auto lose. So this saved me a lot from imperms. Only got D-barrier twice, and I won those. It didn't really matter, but I don't think I would change this. But yeah, Connor, Shane, I think they were absolutely correct on this. I think you have to play it, or you have to play one of them. But this is Crossout just has more coverage. We respect cash, and for the mirror, a lot of people are playing 3 and 1. Ultimately, I made a decision. I think you play clips of the 2. It was weird because most of the tournament I didn't even see these. Never played purely. But it was one of those cards where when it came up, and but this was good. I don't think I'd play clips at a 1, but it was fine at 2. 3 Droll, 3 Ash, and 3 Imperm. These with the books were my defensives. Saw Droll all day. It was really good. Ash is Ash. Now, Imperm, I was really conflicted because in testing, this card, it's complicated because it's so good going second, and the way I was telling Connor was, and I think he's right, you do have to play it, especially as a crossout target, but the ratios is weird because as much as it won me a couple games, there was times where like game 3 where I was going into like an Appaloosa board and the hand wasn't that great, and this card just allowed me to break the board and just win from there. But I kept drawing into this, so if I didn't play this, I probably wouldn't have topped. But it almost cost me some games as well. I don't know. I'm gonna play in the main. I just don't know the ratios, but it was fine. When it came up, it came up. But that's that for that. You just play the 1. It's a really good crossout target in the mirror match if you're going second. A lot of times I would take this out going second, and it worked out fine. I never missed it. I never really needed it for the grind. But you just need to play 1. I don't see a reason to play 2. And usually going second, I start like post game 1. If I'm going second, or I think I'm going to go second, I usually just take it out. Because you don't need it to get in the big noir. That's for the main. Give me a second. We played 2. This is our boss monster. This alone wins games. It was funny because I never saw any purely around me throughout the tournament, and I never, like I said, I never played the mirror match, but people were complaining about this card all day. It's cracked. It's amazing. Being able to shuffle back your opponent's cards in the grave or on field, not once per turn. Yeah, this card alone will win you games even without hand traps. It's insane. This card. So, to me, I wouldn't say this is the best card in the deck, but this is absolutely my favorite. I can honestly say, because I wasn't ever drawing into hand traps or that my draws were kind of dead. This card won about 9% of my games. I'm not sure if people weren't respecting it or weren't aware of how fast this card will end games, but this card is by far my favorite card in the deck. I would not play less than 2, because going second, when you take out the trap, you know this is how you get to big noir, and if you don't kill him, you're getting to big noir, and then that will finish. That'll clean up from there. And then once it gets to their turn, it's already too late because you're ending on big noir. But this card was absolutely insane. Yeah, this card, like I said, this card won me 90% of my games Saturday. This is Beauty. Not really much to say. You know, the lines with Happy where you can attack into an opponent's, or you can change a position of a bigger monster, put in the defense, use Happy, attack into it, get a search, get Delicious, and and then go from there. So this was massive. But there's really nothing. This is standard. I think he played 2 and 2 with Happy and 2 of this. I wouldn't change that. So I was debating how much I wanted to respect back row. I think the format's gone a little too fast because I was back and forth. I see the application of playing it at 2, especially if, it helps you play around back row a little bit. But I ultimately made a decision that the format's a little bit too fast, and 1 is just fine because I'd rather go into Happy going second anyways. But I think 1 is fine. I never need the second one. You still play the 1 plump. Cards cracked. The banish really doesn't come up, but being able to take cards out of your opponent's grave, exposing traps, it's good. I never made this once Saturday, but you still got to play it. So I ultimately made a decision to go with Slacker, because going into, let's say, like a board like Rescue Ace, it's you have to play it. It essentially forces 2 cards. Downers is for the Zeus, and so this card was insane. Usually, if my opponent tried to stop it, they only had 1 card, and it's not once per turn. It stops the negate, and it destroys, and it was solid. I wouldn't change that. Play the 2 Zeus. This is a Zeus deck. I was Zeusing people. It really didn't come as much as I thought. Like I said, I was winning most of my games through Happy. This came up a couple of times against Cash and Rescue Ace, but outside of that, I really didn't go into it. And I don't think you really need to if you play your deck correctly, because the engine itself, the deck itself, purely without the non-engine, is strong enough. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best deck. I might give Cash slight edge in that regard, but if it's not Cash, it's definitely Pearly. I mean, Pearly is Pearly. Backward Mover, Moon for the skill drain, and Donner. I was trying to just have ways for different, depending on what I ran into at the regional. I wouldn't play this at a YCS, but this is a regional, and even though it was Indy and there was a lot of strong players there, they're still jank, and bad players play Contact C, and I didn't want to lose to Contact C. But at a YCS, I would not play this, but it was fine. It never came up. This is for skill drain. Never ran into lab. Didn't even see lab, which shocked me. But it gave me another option to get around, like, let's say, like, goes in. If I go purely, go into this, pop it, tributes for cost, and then on the resolution it, and then in this one also for back row. For the side, 3 nib. Really didn't come out outside of played Dragon Link twice. This was good there. It was good against Cash. That was mainly what this was for, was because in theory I was like, okay, and in testing I was like, okay, if Cash doesn't do their full combo, I'm not scared of their inboard. And Birth is pretty scary, but I figured if they try to to make their most optimal inboard, this cleans up, and I was like, that's fine. And so 3 Bell. I was debating on playing this or Crow. Connor made the right decision. I was thinking about Crow because it did have some application in the format. It's insane against the mirror, but the matches that came up today, Dragon Link, it came up. I played on chain as well. This was really good. Connor absolutely made, the guy behind the camera, he absolutely made the right decision to play for me to play this. He was absolutely correct. I don't regret playing this. It really didn't come up. Like I said, I really didn't see my side at all today, but it was fine. When it came up, it came up. 2 talent. Insanely good against Cash. I played against a Samurai player, and this was pretty good. How me get rid of a Baron, and yeah, it was fine. I think I would still play it. I'm debating on putting it in the main, but yeah, I would still play it. It was good. Ultimately, I made a decision that my deck loses the floodgates, not necessarily back row. I wasn't scared of back row per se. I was scared more of floodgates, and because of the format, you know, a lot of people are playing like anti-spell, stuff like that in the draw phase. I want something that could respond to it quickly. Some people think that you should play as 2 and 1. I think that's incorrect. I will always play Cosmetic 3 because I want to be able to get rid of the problem as fast as possible. But yeah, none of this came up. Never saw it. But it was fine. I wouldn't change it. I think the 1 Duster 3 Cosmic is fine. Crossout targets also good for certain matchups. Steve Bear. It sounds weird, but I don't think you have to play this. But I would at least play 1 of it, if not 2, for the crossout target, just to, because you don't want to, you know, hard draw it with crossout and it'd be dead, you know, going into a board. But it was fine. Never came up, but it's fine. I would play it at 1 or 2 in the side, but I mean, it is fine. And that's the deck.
Like a spider on your shoulder makes your skin crawl.